Alright, welcome back, teardroppers. Here's what we're going to do today. So there's about 3 things I need to get done. One is to remove the hatch and put the seal across the back of the hurricane hinge. I could probably do it with it on here, but I think I want to take it off. That way I make sure I get a good seal. And second is to finally go around the edge of all of our aluminum trim around the trailer and put our ProFlex around that. Then last but not least, we need to get the supports onto the hatch, so we'll reinstall the hatch and put our supports on, and hopefully everything works fine. So if you want to see how we do that, stick around. Alright, so we need to seal between the hatch and the hurricane hinge on the cabin side, and there's just a little bit of a ledge right here, and for that I'll be using some 1/4 inch wide by about 3/16 high not tape, but a foam seal that we'll be using. So here's the hurricane hinge that's installed onto the trailer, and you can see that we have this little gap right here. So if any water were to enter into the hinge, it's going to be able to get inside and run down on the hatch side, which we don't want. So we're gonna put a seal in between here, so when the hatch closes, it presses against that seal and gives it a nice airtight fit right up here. So we got to get this thing outside and take that hatch off. So for our seal, I'm just using some foam rubber. Like I said, it's about 3/16 of an inch high and about 1/4 of an inch wide. It's got a sticky back, so we've cleaned this off with some acetone, and now we'll just stick this on. So here's my plan for sealing the outside trim. I'm going to go around the whole trim and cover it with a piece of tape right up to the edge of the trim, and then I'm going to drop down about 3/16 of an inch and leave a little space in here. Then we'll come back, we'll spread our ProFlex, and since I'm all out of cash to throw at this thing, we'll use a credit card to pull it. Your jokes suck. So once our ProFlex is in here, then we'll just take our little template and then we'll just come back along and pull a nice bead across there, and that'll look nice. I've got some white, so that should blend in really well, look pretty uniform, and seal it up right nice. So let me go ahead and get all this taped up, and then get a shot of putting in the ProFlex, pulling it with our plastic, and be good to go. So I spent about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, going around and masking off all of the trim and on the cabin itself, so when we get to start spreading our sealant, we don't make a big mess. So I've got it all the way around the trailer, both sides, top and bottom, except for here along the wheel. I will probably drop the wheel off, that way I can finish masking, because I want a nice bead across here, get everything sealed up and make it look good. So let's get set up and we will start spreading the sealant, show you how I do that. Now as we get ready to spread our sealant on, the idea of the tape and stuff like that isn't just to make things pretty, although we do want to achieve a nice look. Chances are that when we're finished we'll probably have a few places that might not look as good, but the idea of the tape is to keep things nice and clean so you don't have a lot of cleanup later on. I watched a video of a couple who had an RV that they spent a couple of days scraping off all of the old silicone and sealant around trim and things around on the RV, and then when they went to spread on their silicone after cleaning everything up, they used a putty knife to smear it into the cracks and stuff, and honestly it looked horrible, and they knew it because once the stuff dried they spent a couple more days scraping all that stuff off, and then they ended up doing what I'm showing you right now, is to tape off the area, put in your sealant, and then come back along with something to make a nice little radius in there. So I think we're ready to go, and gun is locked and loaded, so let's put on some sealant. I'm using a white ProFlex, and hopefully it'll look pretty good. And stop right there. Now we'll take our credit card, and what we'll do is just kind of pull that along and clean up our mess as we go. Then we'll continue on. So I'm going to tilt it so it gives a little bit bigger spread. And we'll pull that right up and through here. Have a paper towel handy so you can clean off your spreader. Then come back and pull it once again. I think that looks really good. Yep. So I'm happy with that. And then once everything kind of sets up a little bit, then we'll come back and peel off the tape, and you'll see how clean of a job that does. So let me go ahead and finish this side real quick, and then we'll get the other side going, and then we can peel some tape and take a look at how it turns out. And that is how we spread our sealant. Nice clean job. All we have to do now is just peel up our tape, and we'll see a nice little line. Got a nice even coverage and a nice bead. So let's get ready to peel up some tape, and if you do it this way, no mess. The messy part is peeling up tape. So we can let that set up for a few minutes, and then we'll take that off and see how well we did. Alright, it doesn't take very long for that stuff to set up. So now what we're going to do is attempt to take off our tape here. Alright, I won't bore you with the rest of the trailer, but I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of it done. When we get on the bottom, I didn't put any tape on the bottom. We're just going to go ahead and put a bead across there and seal that up real nice and tight like. And nobody's going to see the bottom. We'll make it nice and good looking, but we're almost done with that. So let me finish up. Maybe give you a shot once all the tape is off and you can see how clean it looks. Alright, hang in there. Well, after a lot of tape and a lot of procrastinating, the sealant is done. So, around the diamond plate and trim, I used a clear ProFlex and got a nice seal around here. Of course, on the outside edge, all the way around, I have a nice white ProFlex. Looks good. And across our trim here on the back. We'll just do a quick walk around here. And on the front, we have our nice sealant going around here in the corners, all the way across. And of course on the diamond plate we used a clear. So it goes all the way to the bottom to the seam and across under here. Turned out really well. So we're nice and sealed, and of course on the top, nice bead going across there. And as you saw, we had the last bit I had to drop the wheels, get that sealant on. That turned out nice. So we're looking good. Next is to get our supports on, our spring supports for our hatch. So let's wheel that back in the garage, lift that hatch and get those installed. Alright, now we're going to get ready to install our spring supports. And as it so happens, we have some screw holes right in the right location. So I'm about 4 1/8 inch from the bottom edge here to our screw hole. And that first screw hole is what's going to position. And then we'll make sure that that's nice and vertical. And then we can attach to the side here. So I need to back this screw out, need to mark for another screw hole. We'll get that one drilled. Then we attach the top here on both sides. And then we'll worry about getting the bottom fastened. And then hopefully it'll support this hatch. Let's get it done. I'm using a 9/16 screws here, my truss head screws. I'm going to swap those out for some 5/8 inch here later on. I just want to get things in position to mark some holes. There. We'll get the other side set up, and then we'll come back. We'll mark some holes, get those pre-drilled. Then we'll mark these holes, get those pre-drilled. We'll fasten them down with our 9/16 truss heads, and then we'll see if it works. Good to go. Now to mark my holes, put my spring in place, and I've taken a level onto the spring and make sure that I'm level. I marked them and pre-drilled the holes, so now we're ready to put a couple of screws in there on each side. Then we can test it out and see if it'll hold this thing up. Alright, so let's get these installed. That's one. So let's get the other side done and we'll test it out. Alright, so we have the supports attached temporarily. I need to get some longer screws. I'm out of 5/8, but we've got them in place. Now we just need to test it. We'll open it, see if it'll support the hatch. Each spring is supposed to support about 20 pounds. If I had to guess, the hatch probably weighs about 25, maybe 28 pounds. So I think we have enough support, and then we'll see how we can close it with one hand and call it good. Let's try it out. Springs lock in place and it rests. So pretty good. I can pull down on that, not have to worry about it falling on me. Good deal. And then to close it, all we have to do is raise it up a little bit, push on each one of the springs, let it fold, and then we can close it. Just like so. Drop it. Like it. Now I don't have to use a stick to support that anymore. That's good. Now I just got a little bit of cleanup in here where I've got some shavings and dust. Get that cleaned up, but that's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. And it's going to work. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. So we've got the trailer all sealed up. Trim is on. We've got ProFlex all around the trim. And it did take a little while because I kept putting it off a little bit here, a little bit there. And we've got our supports on our hatch, which work fine. So I am pretty happy with it, and I'm hoping that you like it as well. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell notification for the up and coming videos. We've still got a few more things that we need to get done. We do have some fenders that need to be installed. We've got a battery box that needs to be installed. We've got a switch here that we need to put on the back for some lights. And we also have to put in our 12-volt receptacle for our little refrigerator. And we're real close to being done. And then I'm going to trick it out in my own style. So, give the video a thumbs up, and while you're at it, down below in the description, or right above the description, next to the like button, is a little applause button. It's a new thing. So there, if you click on that, you can show Batman some love. Come on, show Batman some love. You know you want to. And if you're serious about building your own teardrop and would like to have the plans for this teardrop, along with the videos that you see on YouTube, step by step I take you through the whole thing. In the description below the video is a little link that'll get you to where you can get the plans, and if you don't see that or don't have access to it, email me and I'll send you the link. You get the plans and you can start building your own teardrop. So until next time, hey, I appreciate everybody watching and following along. Thank you so much to the subscribers and those who've already supported the channel. Appreciate that very much. And until next time, oh man, stay tuned.